Can you see the screen? सबको नजर आ रही है?
जी हाँ.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
that is
Yes.
fine. That is fine. Right. So here we start our today's session, and we are going ahead with our PMP online PMP exam prep course. We have not a very large audience right here, but at least it is diverse in the sense that people are from, as you see, from Multan, Peshawar, and this is the fun of having this kind of training, that we have got people from diverse places. I just had another session from 4 to 6, and the people were from Denmark and Canada and all around. Again, there were only 4 or 5 people there. But this session we are all from Pakistan and we are available, but we are not available together. But this software has brought us together, and we are therefore conducting this online session. As you all understand, you are going for this training, then you must have heard about what the project management professional is. Project management professional is an international certification, internationally recognized everywhere, and this is coined by Project Management Institute, which is also responsible for establishing standards for project management. And the standard which we are following here is the core standard, the root standard, which is called a guide to project management body of knowledge. So this is the standard we are going to be following. And as far as I'm concerned, most of you know me already, but just for the purpose of introductions, I would start with, my name is Suhail Iqbal, and I have been involved with the profession of project management for quite some time, kind of being an engineer also, and from served in Pakistan Army. We, in one way or the other, had been involved all the time with the projects, and I was also involved with the IT, and therefore a number of IT projects were also to my credit. So I have had experience of lot many different diverse kinds of projects, and for the last 17 years I am providing trainings and consultancy services. And I started the PMP trainings in Pakistan for the very first time. We established the very first chapter in Pakistan, and I was the first president of that. I founded that. Anyways, right now, this training is unique in the sense that this is probably the second or third training online which I am conducting. Otherwise, we keep conducting such like training almost every month. But these trainings are physical trainings, face-to-face trainings. So you will find and you will see that this is very enjoyable, and the fact that we can't see each other does not really matter, because we can ask questions, we can, we are actually talking to each other. And if at all you want to see me, I think I can show you myself, but you probably can't. So let me show you myself for a while, but I will not consume a lot of bandwidth, because if I keep my camera on, that will take connection slow. So this is what it seems, and if at all we need to show anything or something you want to see me, then we can put this camera on. Can you see the camera?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we can see.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
So I'm switching it off right now. Okay, this is a brief introduction of myself, and I would like to start with your introductions, very brief introductions, just showing why do you want to do PMP and what is your background. So let us start with Abid Ali.
Yes, sir. Sir, I am basically a professional civil engineer. I'm working in the works department in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and I'm interested in project management. I have also done MS project management from Comsets University, but I'm too much interested in the certification. Therefore, I took privilege of taking this class under your supervision. Thanks.
Thank you, Abid. Ghazi Shumail Haider.
Yes, sir. I'm by profession a civil engineer. I graduated in 1994, and I've undertaken very many projects, including Sakhar Barrage, a road project in Afghanistan, and Metro bus project in Rawalpindi. and road construction project in FATA. I have recently completed my MSc degree in engineering management from CASE, and I want to explore more options. That's why I'm going to go, taking this course with you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Ghazi. Then we have Commander Iqbal.
Sir, as you know, I'm serving in Navy and I'm working as DG Maritime Affairs and Planning Commission of Pakistan, and we are dealing daily with these things. So just wanted to brush up my knowledge, and I have done MSPM as your student in 2014-15. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, sir. Kuradulan.
Sir, I am doing Information Communication System Engineering from NAC, and I'm also a certified Scrum Master trainer and a digital marketing trainer as well. And right now I'm going for PMP because I'm interested in project management, so therefore here I am.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So we understand what we are doing. So I will also explain what this certification is all about and how are we going to prepare for that. So there will be no doubts, inshallah. I'll clarify everything and I'll discuss with you, and you can ask questions also. But for the time being, I am muting you all as if the sound from various mics could not disturb the whole recording. So I am muting you. So we will start off now. Okay, right. So as I said, PMP, Project Management Professional, is an international certification, and this certification is based on PMI's standard, a guide to project management body of knowledge, which is right in front of you. This is a standards book, and naturally the book of standard is supposed to be like a book of law. It might be difficult to read and interpret, but it encompasses all the knowledge uh, about the subject. So project management is encompassed in this guide, and this guide uh, though describes various concepts and phenomena related to project management, but this is not all you need to understand. Uh, Everything cannot be described in just one book. Therefore, you have to consult other books, other sources to learn more about these concepts. But at least those concepts will be portrayed to you, and I will try my level best to make you understand all those areas, all those concepts. Like Commander Rizwan has already done the MSPM program, and Abid Ali also has done MSPM program. So they are already masters of science in project management. They have studied it all, but I don't know which edition have you studied, but we are going to be studying from the 5th edition. And be mindful of the fact that 5th edition is about to expire. I mean, the new edition, 6th edition, is almost in the market. It will be released in the 3rd quarter of this year. But you don't have to worry, because the exam is not going to change until after 6 months of the release. So that means essentially that you are safe till March of 2018, and it could be more. But if you are really, you are targeting to appear in the PMP exam in near future, then this preparation is going to be fine with you. But if you want to appear later, or your plans are a bit slow and you don't want to appear so soon, probably you have to prepare on 6th edition. Then I will very strongly recommend that you go and appear in this version, 5th edition, because this is a stable standard. The new standard will be a bit dicey in the beginning, and it will be difficult to understand for some, but after about a year of release, it will be stabilizing. Even the questions for the 6th edition would be made afresh, and therefore there would be a lot many confusions about those, which will be removed ultimately within a year or so. So we understand that all of us do want to appear before the standard changes. Now I'll just describe to you why should you not be preparing on the 6th edition? You see, once you become a PMP, you don't have to, reappear in the exam for the new edition. The only thing you need to do is to update your knowledge yourself and prove it to PMI that you have gained some new knowledge in the area, and that is enough. You are a PMP, you can keep your PMP just by showing to PMI that you have gained about 60 professional development units in a time of 3 years. The cycle is of 3 years. After every 3 years, your PMP certification will need to be renewed, and you don't have to appear again in the exam. If you can show to them that you have done 60 hours somewhere of training, then they will allow you to renew your PMP with a payment, a small little payment of $60 if you are a member. We'll talk about those things a bit later. But the point which I am getting at is when the standard changes, the last 3 months, there is a lot of rush in the exam centers, and therefore the percentage of failure is great at that point in time. So we don't want to take risk, and therefore just subtract those last 3 months from your schedule. So what I mean was that it will be released somewhere in September, and March of next year 2018 would be the change of exam. So January, February, March is the area which is in danger. You don't want to appear in that time. It is safe if from today till December of 2017 you take this time for your exam. You must appear between this time. Now, because we are studying it now, and some of you may not have any exposure to the standard before, except for the 2 people who are already students of MSPM who have completed it, they know something about it, but what about others? They don't know. So give yourself 1 to 3 months to prepare. So that takes on April, May and June. After June, you should appear anytime, and the maximum limit should be before December. You must have done that. You must have appeared in the exam. Now once you apply to PMI for PMP exam, there is a process which I'll discuss, but in that process that also takes a little time, so you should start that process immediately, and your application will be complete when this training will be complete, because you have to have certain professional training in project management as a prerequisite for that. If you have that training already, like Abid is having that training already, and Commander Rizwan is having that thing. I don't know, Ghazi and Kurat will tell me if they have that kind of training. So if you have already studied project management as a formal subject according to PMBOK, then you can appear in the exam directly. Anyway, so when your application is accepted, you are given 1 whole year to appear in the exam. And in this 1 year, it means that they have accepted your credentials for 1 year. If God forbid you do not pass in the first attempt, they do not have to revalidate you, and you can reappear in the exam at a lower fee. They won't take the processing fee of acceptance of your application and all that. They will just take the exam fee. And therefore, the second and third attempt you can take in this 1 year could be cheaper. But I am not at all recommending that all of you should attempt second or third time. I wish and pray that all of you will appear in the first attempt and pass. So that is exactly what our mission is. So the time I have already calculated for you. It is for 3 months from now. After June you can appear, and you should do all your attempts before December. This is the time frame for you. Now, there are some, this is not the only standard of PMI. Although for purposes of project management, we follow this standard, a guide to project management body of knowledge, but there are many other standards of PMI. The foundation is this standard, but there are certain other core standards also. Project management is not the only area. We have got program management. We have got portfolio management, which is not in scope right now, but you should know that the whole game of change is handled by projects, programs, and portfolios. And as you can see on the slide, that all the three books show a pyramid. Project management is shown at the bottom of the pyramid. On the title of program management, you can see program management is highlighted as in the middle of the pyramid, and portfolio management is the highest level, that is the top of the pyramid. These are the three core standards, but there is another fourth core standard, and that standard is organizational project management maturity model, OPM3 we call it. So OPM3 shows all the three areas, project, program, and portfolio. This is basically an assessment mechanism for the organizations. How good are they in project management? So all of these three concepts, project, programs, and portfolios, collectively they are called organizational project management. And if we measure an organization how well it performs in all these areas, then we have to test it through a maturity model. These four standards, project management, PMBOK, program management, portfolio management, and OPM3, are called the core standards. Again, as I said before, these are not the only standards. We have got a number of other standards also available. Like you see, we have got for various explanations, various dimensions of project management have been explained in further detail in certain other standards. And I'm talking about standard. I'm not talking about books. There could be many books in the market, but these all books I'm showing you, these are the books of standard. They are all created by PMI. So for scheduling purposes, there is a standard, practice standard for scheduling, this one. Then for estimation, we have got practice standard for project estimating, which includes the cost estimate, the time estimate, the resource estimate, and everything. I am not saying that all this is not covered in PMBOK. We will study all these things, but not in as much detail as they are discussed in these separate standards. There is a purpose for each explanation. There are certain other certifications beyond project management which need these standards. And otherwise, for the knowledge of the project manager also, we may have to consult these standards. Then there is earned value management. Right now you may not understand, but we'll talk about it. Somehow we do talk about earned value in project management, but earned value as a subject, as a separate subject, is also treated as a standard here. Project risk management, again, though included in project management, but separately and in further detail, a separate standard for project risk management does exist. Then we do have a standard for configuration management. We'll talk a bit about configuration, but more details are there in this standard. When you become a member of PMI, you have access to all these standards free of cost. And you can, download them, read them, print them, do whatever, and you can especially enhance your knowledge. Work breakdown structure is yet another standard, which again is discussed in PMBOK, but further detail is in this standard. On top of everything else, we do have some specialized industry-related extensions to PMBOK. So all the knowledge which is given in project management body of knowledge is applicable to all projects worldwide, but For example, for construction purposes, there is a construction extension to the project management body of knowledge. Now this extension talks about things further than the standard, the core standard, and specific to construction industry. So there could be more areas and processes which are discussed here, but this only will discuss those things which are not there in PMBOK. Similarly, for government projects, there is a government extension. For software projects, there is a software extension. And there is yet another standard, which is again very interesting, and that is called Project Manager Competency Development Framework. In short, PMCDF, Project Manager Competency Development Framework. This is a very useful tool for organizations to assess the competence of their project managers. This standard, although there is no certification around it, but this is, I feel, is very important for organizations, for their HR staff to devise a mechanism to assess their project managers' capabilities and competence. Very recently, I have been contacted by another professional, and he said that I am trying to develop a competency model for my organization, and I referred him that he should go through this book, this standard, and do whatever he is doing in accordance with that. Then these are all the standards scattered around. So as I said, these are not only few standards, there are a lot many standards, and PMI is busy writing more. And it is not PMI which writes it. It is the people who write it. You write it, I write it, we write it. So nobody can claim that some American has written this standard. I am proud to say that I have got personal contribution in the writing of project management body of knowledge, program management standard, portfolio management standard, and I have worked a lot with PMI in various other areas. And it is not only me, there are a lot many other Pakistanis, Indians, Chinese, and from world over, multicultural people who are actually working on it. Do you know how many people work on our standard? When we were working on project management body of knowledge, there were 15,000 people who contributed. So this is still better than a single author book. Standards are always better than the books. Although the books do have knowledge, but standards are way better than books because this is the consolidation of the experience of thousands of people. So you can also contribute. It is free, it is open. Even if you are not a PMI member and you want to contribute, you can. So if you are interested, then I can further guide you how to go about it. And you must have access to these all standards, and only if you are a member, then you will have it. Okay, so far I'll just stop for a while and allow you to ask anything if you have in mind. Any questions about it? जी जी कुरत आप कुछ कह रही थी?
सर मैं अपना इसको म्यूट रख सकती हूँ क्योंकि मेरे लैपटॉप के फैन की वजह से ज्यादा शोर आ रहा है.
अच्छा ओके ओके. नहीं मैंने आपको म्यूट किया हुआ था और अगर अभी मैंने ऑन किया है तो अभी आवाज आएगी, लेकिन अगर आप कुछ कहना चाहती हैं तो बताएं, नहीं तो मैं फिर म्यूट कर दूंगा बात.
नहीं फिर कर दूंगी.
ओके ओके. तो एवरीबॉडी शुड आई मूव अहेड?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now let's talk about the certification itself. Actually, there are two certifications. One is called PMP, Project Management Professional, and the other is called CAPM, that stands for Certified Associate in Project Management. Now, both of these books are based on the PMBOK a guide to project management body of knowledge. But CAPM is a junior level of certification and PMP is a professional level of certification. You can say CAPM is for associates to the project manager and PMP is for the project managers with experience. So we will learn what are the requirements for going for PMP certification and what are the requirements for going for a CAPM certification, and you would know what fits you squarely. Whatever certification you are going for, if you access it from PMI website, which is pmi.org, you will find that for every certification there is a handbook written there, and you can download it, and it contains all the details we are going to be discussing right now. So for PMP, there is a PMP handbook, and it was last updated on 7 December 2015. And this talks all about the requirements and needs and whatever about PMP. And those who are interested in CAPM, there is a CAPM handbook also. So the same course, the course we are doing, will serve the purpose for both kind of people who are appearing for CAPM and who are appearing for PMP. Although CAPM is a much easier certification, it is a junior level of certification. That's why the questions would be much simpler. As far as the growth of PMP is concerned, I have just recorded here only till 2013, but I have another chart somewhere where we have done it till 2016. You see the growth of the profession. You can see exponential growth in this chart, and it is not a very old story. Just in 1993, there were only 1,000 PMPs in the whole wide world. Right now, we have got more than 800,000 PMPs. You can see how quickly this graph is rising, and every subsequent, from 2004 to 2005, you see almost 82,000 people are increased, and so on and so forth. So this graph is increasing continuously. So this is a very popular certification. Almost everywhere in the world, this is a prerequisite for any jobs relating to project management professional. And even in Pakistan, people have started realizing it, and now we have got ample number of PMPs roaming around different organizations. And even if you have done your masters of science in project management, still people are going for PMP, and that is exactly probably why why Abid and Rizwan are here. They are, despite the fact they are MSPM, they are also going for MPM, and that is a requirement. I have seen people who are PhD doctors and they have done PMP after that. So this is a professional certification. That is the education you have. Education and profession, these both kinds of trainings might be different. Let us see how PMI formulates what credential to bring into the market and what is the life cycle of a PMI credential. PMP is a credential. CAPM is a credential. PMI has got 8 different certifications. PMP, Project Management Professional. CAPM, Certified Associate in Project Management. At higher level, there is a certification known as Program Management Professional. Further higher level, there is a certification by the name of Portfolio Management Professional. But these people are very few worldwide. Especially portfolio management professionals are only about 300 plus. Whereas you see PMPs are more than 800,000. Then we have got specialized certifications in the risk and scheduling area. The risk management professional certification is called PMI-RMP. The scheduling professional certification is called PMI-SP. There is a new trend in the market, and that is Agile Certified Professional, PMI-ACP. Then yet another dimension is business analysis, professional in business analysis, that is PMI-PBA. And I think what I'm leaving out, probably I've covered them all. Right. So these are the various certifications we have. And how do they come up? It is not because PMI has written a standard that they should start circulating the certifications. Actually, it is the need of the market. Market demands professionals of a certain category and PMI come to their rescue. When PMI feels that a certain profession is in demand regarding project management, they go to the market and they survey and analyze the market. For this purpose, they hire authenticated third-party surveying companies, big companies who charge very high, and they conduct surveys, global surveys of the professionals, and this uh, takes quite a bit of time, and ultimately the market demand is recorded. They want they want project managers, and project managers must have these skills. This much is the knowledge they should have. This is the skills they should have, and these are the jobs or tasks they should have experience doing. So when this is recorded, number one, this business case is now ready. This is a feasibility study. Yes, there should be a certification for this. And we also know that this specific certification should have these skills. So this certification is not created out of PMBOK. This is not created out of body of knowledge. This is created out of the market need. And once that is authenticated, that market needs a certain kind of project manager, and there is a certain capability and competence they are expecting from a project manager, then PMI assembles a team which is tasked to convert those needs into examination specifications. Examination specification is just like a syllabus, a very detailed syllabus which tells what areas are to be tested and what are the specific skills in each area that would have to be tested. So once this is created, this becomes your syllabus. You see, we have not referred to the project management body of knowledge in creation of examination specification. Still, because that is a standard, that standard will fulfill your requirement. Now another team comes up to develop the exam exactly in accordance with the examination specification developed earlier. According to the syllabus, they will pick up task 1 and they will make a question out of it. And they will keep creating questions. These are the subject matter experts, and these are volunteers like you and me. They will be certified by PMI, they will be authenticated by PMI to work on this team, and they will create the questions. And hundreds and thousands of questions are created, and they are put in a large pool of questions, which is then later presented to the students or candidates, and they then attempt them. But for the very first time, when a certification is created and the exam is developed, naturally there is supposed to be problems in questions. Some questions could be very hard, some questions could be very easy, but there should be a specific level for a certain exam of difficulty. So to eradicate bad questions which are very difficult or very easy out of the pool, they need to do a pilot study. Moreover, when they do the pilot study, at that point they do not have any criteria established who will pass and who will fail. No pass marks are ascertained at that point. So certain candidates are invited to sit in the exam as a pilot, and they are not given their result immediately. Their results are then interpolated and analyzed, and based on their result, they decide what should be the pass percentage. They decide which questions to keep and which not to keep. And ultimately, when PMI is certain that everything has been taken care of, then they release the credential to the public. And then even when the credential has been released to the public, they keep adding questions to that, new questions to that. And to test them, there are a number of questions which will not be marked. You will have to attempt all the questions, but certain number of questions will not be marked, but they will actually be the test questions. But you won't know it. You will be presented as many questions as are supposed to be there in your exam, and some of those questions will not be marked. So anyways, this is a way of continuously improving the credential. And when they feel that again the market demand has changed after every 5 to 7 years, they conduct a role delineation study. Again, marketing research is conducted and they try to analyze that what market needs now. If they needed a project manager of a certain capability 5 years ago or 7 years ago, what is their expectation now? Because with the change in everything, the expectations are also continuously changing, and ultimately every 5 to 7 years after this role delineation study is conducted, new exam specifications are created, new exam is developed, but this time we will not have pilot. Those new questions would be replaced, will be replacing the old questions, and ultimately the credential will continue. It will not be re-released, it will continue happening. So it is, there are two different situations when exam changes. Number one, after every 5 to 7 years, there is a role delineation study, and based on that result, exam specifications may change and the exam may change. That is one chance. The other is whenever the standard changes. A guide to project management body of knowledge is in 5th edition right now. Whenever the 6th edition is released, again the exam specifications will be affected and exam will be redeveloped. So this time what the exam would be changing somewhere in the middle of 2018. That would be due to the change in standard. But maybe after 1 or 2 years you see that exam is again changing, and that might be due to role delineation study. The exam change due to the standard updation is around 4 to 5 years. It normally takes 4 years to rewrite a standard, and it might take a little plus minus. So 4 years is the standard time, but they sometimes take a little more time. But anyways, after every 4 years, we expect that a new standard, a new edition of the standard would be released. So this cycle continues, and this cycle continues working the same way for all other kinds of certifications in PMI. Like I said, there are 8 different certifications. So this applies to all of them. Now, how to appear in the exam? This all is included in the PMP handbook. To appear in the exam, you have to submit your application for PMP. To do that, naturally, you have to go to PMI website, pmi.org, and in certifications, you click on PMP. You will be shown all the 8 certifications, but your desire is PMP, or if it is CAPM, then you will go for CAPM. So whichever certification you want to choose, you click on that, and from there, it allows you to download the handbook, download the exam specification, and if you want to apply, you can apply online. You can also download the application form and apply manually by post, but I won't recommend it. It is not good because it will take a lot of time and there will be some mistakes. When you're doing it online, the things become very simple. If you are filling something wrong, you would know instantly right on your computer that something wrong is going on. Maybe computer does not accept, the form does not accept a wrong answer. So that is more safe a way. But the application is very, very long. Therefore, it cannot be filled in one sitting. So it is recommended that you take your time in filling the application. Every time you leave the work of application, a part of application has been filled, you save it and move out. So computer will keep it. Your PMI website will keep a record how much application have you filled, and next time you log in, you can keep filling it further. Until and unless you complete the application and you submit it, only then PMI will get it. So when you start filling your online application, PMI will allow you 90 days to fill that application. Although it doesn't take that many days, it takes 1-2 days or maybe 3 to 5 days. But 90 days is too much. But yes, sometimes you start filling an application and then you forget about it, and maybe about 30 days you remember and you again start filling it. So that's why PMI has given you these 90 days. But that doesn't mean that after 90 days your application will be removed. You will not be able to access it after 90 days. And if at all you feel that you have filled in most of your data in the application and now it is not accessible, you can always request PMI to allow you to fill the same application further on. They will do that. They will allow you that. But this caution is there that they have taken it, 90 days is more than enough for anyone to fill an application. Anyways, once you have filled the application and submitted, within 5 days, PMI will get back to you after the completeness review. Completeness review means that all the fields have been filled and nothing is missing. It does not mean that PMI has accepted your application. It means that application is complete. So within 5 years, you will be intimated about that, and a little later, you will also receive another email from PMI, and that would tell you to submit your payment. Whatever is a fee, which I'll talk later, that fee has to be submitted at this stage, as if they can start processing your application. Now somebody will go and look at your application. There is an audit process. Some of the candidates will face the audit. Others' application will be accepted as such. Those few people whose applications are selected for audit, they will be asked to provide further proof of their experience or education or whatever on a specific format which will be sent to you in a PDF file. You can print it out, take it along to your boss with whom you have done the project or to the educational institute from where you have done your degree, and you can ask him to fill it down, and it should be returned to you in a sealed envelope. You are not allowed to see what is written inside, in a sealed envelope, and that sealed envelope, all the sealed envelopes you will collect and you will have to send them by post to PMI. You can't open the envelopes, you can't read them, you can't scan them, you can't email them. These are to be sent by post. So they give you about 90 days to do that, to complete your audit proceedings. And once you have sent it, naturally in a couple of days it will reach PMI. After PMI receives this audit material, they will take further 5 to 7 days to accept or reject your application. If your application is accepted, then you will be receiving a letter how to register for the exam, certification exam, and you will be provided a period of 1 whole year in which you can sit the exam at your own convenience, at your own choice of center. There are prometric testing centers all over the world. Even if you are traveling to Switzerland and you want to appear there, you can appear there. There is no problem, absolutely. But you must register your exam beforehand. I'll talk about those details. But once you sit in the exam, you will be presented an exam of 200 questions for PMP, and you will be allowed 4 hours. In this 4 hours, you will have to attempt these 200 questions, and if you pass, then you become a PMP, and your renewal cycle starts, which is called the certification cycle, and certification cycle is of 3 years. After every 3 years, you have to renew it. and I'll talk about the procedure how to renew it. But you need to gain or acquire 60 professional development units in these 3 years. If you have gained those 60 professional development units, you show it to PMI, and PMI, if they accept it, they will ask you to submit a payment of $60 after 3 years for renewal of your PMP, and then you will be certified as for another 3 years. And after the end of that time, you will again have to renew it. What if you do not renew it? What if you forget gathering your 60 PDUs? 3 years is a maintenance time and you have to do it within these 3 years. But if you, and PMI will be sending you the renewal warnings as well. If you don't do it, PMI will suspend you. You cannot use PMP credential with your name. And this suspension could be for 1 complete year. And you are allowed in this 1 year to complete all your PDUs and show it to PMI, pay your fee for the certification, that is $60 every 3 years, and your suspension will be raised. You will then again become a credential holder. But if you are unsuccessful in doing that in 1 whole year, then your credential will expire. It will be expunged. You will no more be a PMP. And if at all you desire to do it again, you can go for the whole process yet again. Right from the beginning, from the application process. A fresh application has to be moved. So this is how the whole thing flows. Let me say, if your audit process fails, what will happen? If your audit process fails, you will be reimbursed the examination portion of the fee. The processing fee will be held by PMI. Now, I also said that PMI will allow you 1 year, 1 whole year to appear in the exam. You are cleared for 1 year. Your credentials, your application is cleared for 1 year. You can take 3 chances in this 1 year. But naturally, every subsequent chance will have to be charged by PMI, but the fee would be less because there will be no processing involved. So this multiple choice question exam you can take thrice. But naturally, I do understand all of you are capable enough to do it, to pass the exam in the very first attempt. Still, I would urge you that you must keep some time for the second and third attempt in case you do not pass in the first attempt. So within this 1 year period allowed to you, you must make the first attempt in the first 6 months. And you would know you are passing or not. If you are passing, well and good. If you are not passing, then you must attempt second time within the next 3 months. This is my suggestion. PMI does not tell you to do that. And God forbid, if you do not pass it even then, you still have 3 more months to go by, and you can avail your last chance. If anyone does not pass this exam in 3 attempts, I would say that person is probably not really very fit for the profession. And such a person would, be barred from taking the exam for 1 year. Previously, the rule had been that the person used to get barred for the whole lifetime. But PMI has relaxed that situation, and now your debarment period after 3 attempts in 1 year is only 1 year. After 1 year, you can resubmit another application and you can do it. I know of a person in Canada who appeared 5 times. He failed the first 3 attempts, and he was debarred for 1 year. After 1 year, he tried again. He again failed, and for the 5th time when he appeared, he passed. I do not want to make you afraid of all these stories, because PMP is difficult, but not that difficult. I know most of the people pass it in the first attempt. You don't want to be the exception. There are very few people who do not pass it in the first attempt. But this is very natural if you don't. I know of a person who was a gold medalist and who was a wonderful person and everything, and he failed the exam in the first attempt, and he came to me and he said, you know me, I am a gold medalist and I have been a debater and I am a very intelligent person and I failed. Why? Similarly, another person, he failed 3 times. And again, he was a gold medalist and a very intelligent person, but he failed 3 times. So, when I analyzed their situation, I told them one thing, and that is, just because you have got a lot of experience behind you, therefore, that debars you, that actually puts hurdles in your way of learning. You do not believe what you read. When you see the questions in the exam, the first thing coming to your mind is your own experience saying, do it like this. And your experience had been all the way wrong. So you have been answering the questions wrong every time because you are very rigid. You have not flexibly oriented towards the standard. When you are answering the questions in the exam, you have to comply with the standard. Whatever the standard says, that is not wrong. Actually, our practices are wrong. We are doing things wrongly. Therefore, we don't want to, maintaining our status quo. We have to be very flexible. And this problem is normally only for those people who are too much experienced. Take a fresh guy, fresh person, and he will pass in first attempt because he doesn't have any, load to carry. So this is how you apply for it. For CAPM, well, the criteria for CAPM is slightly different because this is for junior professionals. This is for associate level people. So generally the procedure is the same, but application procedure is the same, but with little amendment. You see, the application completeness review would come back to you in 24 hours. Application payment process, after that, you may be audited like in PMP. Multiple choice question is slightly different because they only have 150 questions, CAPM people. They have 150 questions in 3 hours. And these are very childish questions, very simple questions. So this is for fresh people, fresh out of college or university or whatever. And their certification cycle is not of 3 years. CAPM certification cycle is 5 years and it is non-renewable. CAPM does not get renewed. It expires after 5 years. So why does it expire after 5 years? If you have maintained CAPM for 5 years, you must have got your experience of more than 3 years, which is a requirement for PMP. So why don't you go for PMP after that? But if you insist that you want to be a CAPM all the time, then you may appear in the CAPM exam again and get it for 5 years more. But for all practical purposes, people go for PMP after their first tenure of 5 years. I personally hold all the 8 certifications of PMI, and I did all the certifications, PMP, PGMP, PFMP and everything. And when I did all except CAPM, somebody told me that why don't you, come in the record? You do all the 8 certifications and you do the CAPM. I laughed at it. I said, why should I do that? That is too childish. But still, it was just a matter of competition. So I did appear in the CAPM exam, and that was my last certification, the 8th certification. So just for fun purposes, I did that also, and it is about to expire this year. And I intend going for it again. Okay, we have talked about the role delineation study. As I said, it is done after every 5 to 7 years, and third party, a big, huge company who is experienced in doing these kind of surveys, they will conduct this study and they will discuss the roles associated with that credential, with the market forces, with the industry, various industries. And they will outline what are the various tasks and responsibilities expected to be performed by a project manager, and they provide a blueprint for the exam. It is not exactly the syllabus, but based on these things, the exam questions would be formulated. The candidate for PMP, what is the basic characteristic? Who is eligible to go for PMP credential, or what do we expect out of a PMP project management professional? He should be able to perform his duties under general supervision and are responsible for all aspects of project for the life of the project. So for the project, this person is the boss. He handles all the aspects of the project. He supervises everything. I mean, he is responsible for everything. And it says under general supervision. He must be having some boss, and he would have a general supervision. He will assign this job to him. Rest everything project manager would be doing. So probably those of you who are a project manager, you must have gone through this stage, and you must have been going through this stage. Then he must be able to lead and direct cross-functional teams. Why cross-functional team? Because projects are unique, and people coming to projects might not be coming from one department or one organization. They might be from cross-functional departments. So these teams are of diverse skills to deliver projects within the constraints of schedule, budget, and scope. And we'll talk a lot about schedule, budget, and scope. He should be able to demonstrate sufficient knowledge and experience to appropriately apply a methodology to projects that have reasonably well-defined requirements and deliverables. Reasonably, projects can never be fully defined because we are doing some challenging work. We are taking on the challenge, and if it is a challenge, then there might be a lot of uncertainty in it, and that uncertainty makes it not very well defined. So you have to demonstrate how can you handle such uncertain situations. Right. What is the eligibility criteria? There are two types of people who can appear for PMP exam. One, those who have got graduation degree, but this graduation should be a 4-year degree, like 16 years of education, like it is now. Previously, people used to have BA, BSc at 14 years of experience, total 14 years of knowledge or education. Nowadays, even government of Pakistan have raised it to 16 years. So 4 years degree. Bachelor must be 4-year degree. Person must be holding that, and if you hold that, you can show, or you must show, minimum 3 years of working on projects. That is 36 months unique on non-overlapping professional project management experience. Non-overlapping means that you are doing one project at a time. You can't say I was doing 10 projects at a time. Only one will be counted. 9 will not be counted. So only one project at a time. And this 3-year experience must demonstrate at least 4,500 hours of leading and directing project work. So generally speaking, if it is 3 years, so it comes out to be around 1,500 hours of work per year. So those of you who have got a lot of experience, you don't have to worry about it. But those of you who have less experience, they may wait for their experience to be completed. But anyways, even if you have a lot of experience, do not show all of your 30 years of experience. PMI does not really need that, and that will even make the things difficult for you, because more you show your experience, more are the chances of everything to be audited. You don't want to get audited for a very old project for which there is nobody left on the scene. So try to show your experience of last 3 to 4 years, recent 3 to 4 years. Moreover, one more thing you must know is any experience uh, which is gained with a gap of 3 years. You see, you are doing a project right now, but the previous project you did was 5 years back. If the time gap between two projects is more than 3 years, all the previous experience is multiplied by 0. And I said no overlapping projects. So this, yes, there could be a gap between two projects, but no overlaps. This overlap is not allowed. Right, these are two requirements, education and your experience. And the third requirement is also necessary, and that is you must have got 35 contact hours of formal project management training. This could be, whatever you have studied in your university or anywhere. If you have read it, if you have studied project management according to PMP, okay, then that will count. Like those of you who have done MSPM, each and every subject of yours will give you more than 35 hours. The simple formula is that you count the credit hours of any one subject. Say it is 3 credit hours. If your session, your semester is more than 4 months period, then multiply this credit hours with 15. If your session is semester is less than 4 months, then you multiplied it by 10. So even if your semester is less than 4 months, still you get 3 into 10, 30 contact hours out of it. And if it is 4 months or above, then you get 3 into 15, 45 contact hours. But even if you don't have any contact hours, do not worry. This training we are conducting right now will fulfill that requirement. I am sorry, Rizwan साहब, आप कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं?
More than 5 years old and something about that.
जी.
Can you please say it again, sir?
I was saying that not really 5 years, but any experience with a gap of 3 or more years will be nullified.
Okay, thank you.
So you must show that you have been doing something all the time, with a little gap, less than 3 years gap in between.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome you. Right. For those who do not hold a degree, a bachelor's degree, they also can appear for the PMP exam. If you do not have a 4 years degree, or you are a diploma holder or something like that, so anybody having less than 4 years degree is eligible. Secondary school must be done. Secondary school from their point of view is about 12 years of education. So minimum 12 years of education. Experience is more. For a graduate it was 3 years, here it is 5 years. That means 60 months of unique non-overlapping professional project management experience. And if you count it from the point of view of the 1500 hours per year, it comes out to be 7500 hours of leading and directing project work. All these requirements are necessary. 5 years must be complete, 60 months, it should be translatable, 60 months and 7500 hours. All this has to be completed. And 35 contact hour requirement of the formal education remains the same. So this is how you can, this is the basic criteria you have to fulfill to sit in the PMP exam. For CAPM, this is very interesting because this is to accommodate people who have less experience or no experience at all. So these are associates, these are the assistants, project manager will be training under him. So there are two categories here also. Just the secondary education is required, not even the degree, bachelor degree is required. The secondary education is required, and secondary education, with that you either have 1500 hours of project experience, which comes out to be 1 year, or if you don't have 1 year experience, you can show that you have studied project management for 23 hours somewhere. Either of these two conditions, if fulfilled, you can go for CAPM exam. So this is much simpler. As far as PMP exam is concerned, PMP exam has 200 questions and 4 hours to attempt. Out of these 200 questions, 25 questions which you don't know which are those questions, but 25 questions are those which are just put there for testing purposes. Matlab, testing of the questions. These are new questions and they want to test it, how people attempt them. You will not be marked for them. You will actually be getting your marks out of the remaining 175 questions. But that information is just for information purposes. This is not for deciding your strategy. You see, I have seen people teaching to PMP classes that out of 200, 25 questions will not be marked. Therefore, you only have to attempt 175 questions. And out of 175, if you get about 60%, you may pass. So it is less than 100. So they bring it down to 50%, which I don't agree at all. Because when you don't know which are those questions, how can you exclude them from the competition? So for all practical purposes, I have 200 questions and I will be scored out of those 200 questions. And 60% is not the pass marks. There is no pass percentage for these exams. They work on percentile, and even they do not tell what is the going percentile for passing students. I hope you understand what percentile means. Percentile means if it is 98%, only those top 2% people the top 200% people will only be declared pass. Everybody else is failed. No matter they pass at 60% and above or they pass at 90% and above, no matter what. So they fix the percentile, and even that percentile is not known to us, and therefore you have to do your best. You just can't, take chances. There is nothing you can leave on chance. You have to almost do 100%. So generally speaking, when you are preparing, I would say if you can attempt questions, dummy questions, and you can acquire 85 to 90% marks consistently, you are ready for the exam. But then the question is, from where are you getting these questions? There are many questions available online, and those questions might be of very poor quality. They might be very easy questions. The questions in PMP exam are not that easy. They are tough questions. They are lengthy questions. They are scenario-based questions. So do not just be very happy about taking a small little exam from some internet website and you are securing 100% and we are very happy and you go and sit in the exam. Be rest assured you will not pass like that. The most difficult exams right now in the market are, number one, the best exams are from Rita Malkahi. Rita Malkahi has a book written on that is a PMP study guide called Fast Track. So that study guide also provides you guidance on preparing for the exam, but it also gives you a huge number of questions. About 400 questions are given throughout the book in each chapter. And a full-length 200-question exam is also provided at the end. She also has a software which is sold for around 35,000 rupees and it works only for 1 year. That software contains about 1700 questions. And it will give you a complete simulation environment as in the PMP exam. And if you can pass those exams, you probably can pass PMP exam. There is yet another website which is pmstudy.com. pmstudy.com. They also charge you about $100 and some, and they sell you a set of 200 questions. I think 2 sets of 200 questions in this much money. There are so many other sites, gocertify.com, and so many other sites, but they where you have to pay, you can be a bit sure about the quality of questions. But as I said, as I told you, the best questions are from Rita Malkai, then PM Study and a few other sources, and you can prepare from there. As far as CAPM exam is concerned, as I said, it is easier. It is less number of questions, less time. So 150 questions in 3 hours. 15 questions are unscored. Total 135 will be marked. But again, I would say you have to appear in one attempt all the 150 questions. Therefore, you don't know which are those 15 questions. Therefore, you will be securing whatever pass marks out of these 150. These exams are developed on international standards. So, you might have certain differences. People have noted, and I have also noted sometimes that some of the PMP questions are not good. I mean, they are bad questions. They are not good. They are wrong, and still you have to attempt it because you don't know whether it is a trial question or it is an actual question. If you do it wrong, you may lose that mark. Therefore, be ready to face challenging questions, and when you get a challenging question, don't simply expect that this was a trial question. No, it might not be. So you should be very well conversant with the concepts of project management as if you do not have any doubt about anything. So these questions are developed and are independently by working groups of PMP credential holders. I can go and opt for this, but then if I start writing questions, then I will not be allowed to teach. So therefore, there are certain people who take on this responsibility and they write questions. Anyways, this is what it is all about, your questions. This is also not important. This is very old because now exam is going to change yet again. Okay. Let's move on to the exam specification. There is, just like the PMP handbook, there is another book which you can download from PMI website, and that is called PMP examination content or examination content outline. This examination content outline describes the syllabus. The questions you will be getting in the exam would be from this syllabus and not exactly from PMBOK. So similarly, CAPM, just hold on. Okay. CAPM has got its own handbook. For CAPM, it is based on the PMBOK chapters. This much percentage of questions will be coming from this chapter, but this will not relate to you because you are going for PMP. For PMP, these are the percentages. No matter what the chapters of the book are, but from initiation of the project, you will get 13% marks. From planning of the project, you get 24% marks. From execution, you get 31% marks. Monitoring and control, you will get 25% marks. And closing, you will get 7% questions. So this is the distribution of your 100% questions. So you will get 200 questions. So from that point of view, initiation, you will have 26 questions, planning 48, execution 62, monitoring and control 50 questions, and closing 14 questions. Exactly. So these are the number of questions you will be getting in your exam, but they will be randomly arranged. Those questions will be randomly arranged. It is not that first you will be tested for initiation and then planning and then execution. Not at all. Anyways, the book is not written according to the initiation, planning, execution. Book is written in some other way. But every aspect you are reading in a chapter goes through the cycle of initiation, planning, execution. So you have to be mindful of that fact that you have to go through the whole book to start answering these questions. Okay, as far as initiation is concerned, the tasks expected to be known to the project manager, or he should have done these jobs. These are the 8 tasks from initiation, and out of these 8 tasks you will get how many questions? 26 questions out of this. So if you can do a simple math, then almost 3 to 4 questions from each task. So what are these tasks? You can read it yourself, but I'll read some for you. First of all, perform project assessment based upon available information, lessons learned from previous projects, and meetings with relevant stakeholders in order to support the evaluation of the feasibility of a new product or services within the given assumptions and our constraints. Now, this terminology used is very comprehensive and it is very difficult to understand. So let's break it down. If you can somehow, let me have the highlighter. Let's see, the first thing it talks about is project assessment. Then lessons learned, meetings, and evaluation, feasibility, assumptions, and constraints. These are the main items you need to understand. You have to be clear about these things. Only then you will be able to perform this job. Have you ever done a project assessment? When is project assessment done? How is project assessment done? What are the prerequisites of project assessment? This might not be in PMP. You might have to read it from other sources. Then, what is the available information? Available information is coming from the lessons learned from previous project. So do we use lessons learned from previous processes? Maybe in whole of your experience you have never done that. Maybe you have done that. But if you have not done that, you must learn to use it, because this is what is expected from a project manager. Then, do you hold meetings with your stakeholders for this purpose, for initiating the project? Do you evaluate the feasibilities for whatever you are trying to do, new product or service? And at this stage, what are the assumptions and constraints you are taking care of? They must also be earmarked. Naturally, once we will study each thing in detail, we will talk about these terms in more detail, but I'm just trying to highlight that each task is not that simple. Each task is consisting 8 to 10 different terminologies, and you must be amply clear about all of them, as if you can claim that you can do this job, only this task. And you have to do 8 similar tasks here. The next task is identify key deliverables. You see, identifying the key deliverables of your project. That is the main task. How? Based on the business requirements. That means your key deliverables identification is based on business requirements. You must know how to do the business requirements analysis in order to manage customer expectation. And why are you doing that? Because you want to fulfill the expectations of the customer. So this is related. And direct the achievement of project goals. If you know the deliverable properly, Why? Because business requirement has been done. You will be able to fulfill the expectation of the customer as well as achieve the project goals. So all these concepts must be clear and the task is crystal clear to you. If you know all these tasks clearly, I can assure you that you are on the path of passing the PMP exam. Task 3, perform stakeholder analysis. Now the question is, what is stakeholder? Who is stakeholder? How do we analyze them? We will study that later. But stakeholder analysis is the key point here. And there are certain appropriate tools and techniques that are to be used for doing the stakeholder analysis. Why? As if we can align the expectations and gains to support the project. All the stakeholders' expectations must be aligned with the project. If they are thinking something else and we are making something else, then probably those stakeholders are going to be angry with us. We don't want to make our stakeholders angry. Next task is identify high-level risks. Here, risk is important, assumption is important, constraint is important, based on the current environment is important, organizational factors are important, historical data is important, expert judgment is important in order to propose an implementation strategy. You see, these terminologies all must be clear, and as a whole this task must be clear to you. High level, when we are initiating a project, we are not doing things in detail. We are doing high level things. We are broadly describing these items. What are the general risks to the project? What are the major assumptions? What are the major constraints? And why are we doing that? We are basing that on the environment around the project, the organizational factors, the things which are affecting the project. Any historical data, previous record, that is affecting us. Our experience, our expert judgment is affecting us, as if we can do the implementation of this project or the strategy of the organization in a most appropriate manner. Task 5, participate in the development of the project charter. That is a key factor. Project charter has to be developed. How? By compiling and analyzing gathered information. Why? In order to ensure project stakeholders are in agreement. You see, previously we were talking about project stakeholders. Here we are also talking about project stakeholder. Project stakeholder is extremely very important to you. Obtain project charter approval. Next task. First we create the charter, then we get it approved from the sponsor in order to formalize the authority assigned to the project manager. So authority of the project manager is important. And gain commitment and acceptance of the project from the higher ups. Task 7, conduct benefit analysis with the relevant stakeholders to validate project alignment. So benefit analysis is important, relevant stakeholder is important, validate project alignment is important, organizational strategy is important, and expected business value is important. These things will be clarified ultimately, but this is how you have to read these things. In detail, you have to go through each and every step before you start preparing for the exam. I understand you will not understand anything for the first time you read it. Then you have to get into it and underline these things or highlight these items, and then make yourself understand what does it really mean. And once then you will be going through the PMBOK, then you will be able to relate those things here. On top of these 8 tasks, you as a project manager in initiation of the project must be having these knowledge and skills available with you. You must have analytical skills. You should not be an unintelligent person who cannot analyze a situation. You must have proper analytical skills. So some kind of IQ is required for a project manager. Benefit analysis techniques. How do you do the cost benefit analysis? How do you do the feasibility? Feasibility is what? Feasibility is all about the cost benefit analysis, whether it is feasible or it is not feasible. So cost benefit analysis you must know. Elements of project, what is to be included in the project charter. Estimation tools and techniques, broadly speaking, although when we'll do the detailed estimation, then the tools will be different. But this is a broad estimation we are doing, high level estimation we are doing at the stage of initiation. So what are the tools and techniques to do that? And ultimately, the strategic management, how are we aligning everything from our project to the organizational strategy and how it is serving the organizational strategy. So you see, this way we have to postmortem the whole syllabus and then we have to prepare accordingly. Okay, just a minute. Let me move on to the next slide. Yes. In planning, you see here there are listed about 10 tasks on this page, and on the next page 3 more. 13 tasks for planning. How much is the percentage? 24%. Almost 2 questions from every task. And the list of knowledge and skills, you see it's a long list here. In planning, you need these skills. You must know how to do change management planning. You must know how to do cost management planning, budgeting. You must know the use of the tools and techniques for budgeting, communication planning, contract types and selection criteria, estimation tools and techniques, human resource planning, and so on and so forth. So you should not be, stranger to any of these terms. Not even a single term you must be stranger to. You must clearly understand what that means and how would you apply that in your project. Then is execution, 31% marks and only 7 tasks. So it comes out to be 3 to 4 questions from each task. And the knowledge and skills is, in execution, you have to know the continuous improvement process. How can you improve your processes continuously to give better results? Contract management techniques must be known to you because you are awarding contracts to your subcontractors. Elements of statement of work. When you are getting something done from your contractor, what should you include in the statement of work? Interdependencies among project elements. Project budgeting and tools and techniques. Quality standard tools like quality assurance and vendor management techniques. Moving on to monitoring and control, you have got 7 tasks and 25% questions. That means 3 to 4 questions per task on average. And the knowledge and skills you require, you will learn earned value, critical path method, program evaluation and review technique, trend analysis, and process analysis techniques like Lean, Kanban, Six Sigma, project control limits like thresholds and tolerances, project finance principles, project monitoring tools and techniques, and so on and so forth. You see, this is a never-ending list. This is a huge list of tasks, of things you have to learn. I don't say that you become a PhD in each and every one of these topics, but at least most of the things you should be knowing by experience. But some of the things you never came across, you at least must clarify from various sources or books or internet itself, and at least understand the definition of that thing. What does it really mean? You should not be understanding it wrongly. In closing, we have got 7% marks and 7 tasks. So straight away, 1 question per task. And the knowledge and skills are archiving practices and statutes, compliance, contract closure requirements, and etc. So questions can be made out of all these things. And the story doesn't end here. On top of everything you have already talked about, there are a number of cross-cutting knowledge and skills you must have. Do you know what active listening means? If you don't know, then you must learn. You have to read it from somewhere. What is active listening? What are the applicable laws and regulations? What is benefit realization? What is brainstorming techniques? Business acumen? Some of the terms you might be knowing already. Still, I would say that you reconfirm that that is what exactly it means, because your understanding might not be correct. You have to develop the proper understanding for that. Anyways, so this is your syllabus. The whole of these things, if I can flash back right from initiation to planning and execution and monitoring and control and closing, this is your syllabus. All the questions in your exam are going to be related to this syllabus. Now coming over to the examination scheduling, before I can move on to that, any questions?
No, sir, I think you can proceed.
Okay. Right. Examination scheduling. I have already defined most of the things from the examination scheduling. The fee for the exam for a member of PMI is $405. But if you are not a member, you have to pay $555. Now, the question is, how do you become a member? Again, go to PMI's website, pmi.org, click on membership and become a member. When you become a member, you will have to pay a certain amount. And that amount is $129 plus $10 for the first time. So you will have to spend $139 to become a member. And if you do that, you will get your PMP exam reduced from 555 to 405. Basically, this is the advantage, the gap is of the membership. So why should you not take the membership and take the advantages of the benefits of the membership and still be able to do your PMP certification in the same price? So I would strongly recommend that you do that. And not only that, but once you become a member of PMI, also join nearest local chapter. That would be maybe $10, $15, $20 extra, but whatever is the nearest PMI chapter, you must become a member of that as well. You cannot join a chapter in Pakistan if you are not a PMI member. You have to be a PMI member. If you are a PMI member, you can join Lahore chapter, you can join Karachi chapter, you can join Islamabad chapter. There are 3 chapters. The yearly fee for Islamabad chapter is $15, yearly fee for Karachi chapter is $20, and Lahore chapter does not charge anything. So by default, I think you should go for Lahore chapter anyways, because you don't have to pay anything extra. But if you are in Islamabad, you must become a member of Islamabad chapter. Pay $15 more. It will not make much of difference. You are already paying $139 plus 15 will make it $154. So that will give you an advantage you will realize later. I had one of my colleagues, he did his PMP, but he said that I don't want to become a member. I told him the same suggestion I gave him, that you should become a member, and there might be some need you will get, you will have to take advantage of PMI membership. He said, no, I'll just pass PMP. He paid $555. He did his PMP in flying colors, but about 3 to 6 months later, I called him to come and teach with me. And at that point, he could not take advantage of that because he was not a PMI member. So these are some of the disadvantages, and therefore, why not take the PMI membership and then go for it? Anyways. Paper-based testing is not available in Pakistan, so forget about it. We don't want to talk about it. It is not available in only certain countries, like not available in Afghanistan, not available in Iran, not available in Iraq, maybe, you know, such like countries, paper-based testing, computer-based testing is not available. So in such like cases, PMI may allow paper-based testing. But recently I had been in Iran and they wanted to have the paper-based testing conducted, and I committed to them that yes, we can talk to PMI and we can arrange for your paper-based testing in Iran. But later when I talked to PMI, PMI said they have got sanctions from America. Therefore, we cannot arrange for their paper-based testing. So they are again, you know, hanging in a limbo. They cannot conduct any PMP trainings there. Anyways, for re-examination, if you could not clear it for the first time and your 1 year waiver or one year period is still on, you can, as a member, you can reapply in $275. That means about 130 dollars is reduced. But if you are not a member, you have to pay $375. So if you are a member, I think you will take advantage of this also and this also. And after that, once you become a PMP, then for members, the renewal fees of PMP after every 3 years is $60 only. Whereas for a non-member, it is $150. Even if you are not a PMI member, you still can maintain your PMP credential, but by paying $150 every 3 years. For computer CAPM, for a member it is $225, for non-member $300, re-examination $150 per member and $200 for non-member, and there is no renewal fee. If you want to schedule your application has been accepted. Now you want to schedule your exam. PMI would send you an email which will consist of these details. They will send you a PMI eligibility ID, and they will tell you the start date of eligibility and the end date of eligibility. They will send you the examination scheduling instructions, and they will send you the web address of this website. You can go to this website right now and see that once you go there, it will ask you for your PMI eligibility. When you will have that, you will put it there. If it is when you have logged in, it is between the start and end time, that will allow you to go to the examination scheduling. Fees you have already paid. You don't have to pay online anything anymore. And now they, if you intend scheduling, they'll offer you a calendar, and on that calendar you can see, first they will ask you which country or which center you want to appear. So you can select that I want to appear in Pakistan and in Lahore or Islamabad or wherever. So you will select a center, and in that center you will see if there are any seats available on your desired day. There are many seats there. In Islamabad, you see, I think they have got good about 40-50 seats available at a time. But you can't count on that because it is not only the PMP exam they are taking. They are taking TOEFL exam, they are taking GRE exam, they are taking all types of exams there. Therefore, you must be careful to book your exam early. Now, some instructions about how early you should be booking your exam. It says that at least 6 weeks in advance of your preferred test date. If you want to appear on 30th of March, then you must have booked your slot on latest by 15th of Feb. So give it about 6 weeks. And if you are talking about the whole 1 year period and you have not applied for it and you just want to appear once, then don't wait for the last date. Then because if you do not get any slot in the last 3 months, you will be disqualified. Your money will go waste. So in case of the eligibility period ending, before the end of the eligibility period, at least 3 months earlier than that, you must book a slot for yourself. What about if you cannot appear in the exam, or you want to change the time you have already selected? They have made very rigid rules for that now. What they say now is you cannot change your exam after 30 days. I mean, if your exam date is 30 days away, you can change the exam date. But if you are in 30 days, last 30 days of the booked slot, then you will have to pay something. You will have to pay $70. You will have to pay $70 for the change of exam date. But before that, if you have got 5 or 6 or 7 weeks left and you want to change at this point, one time it will be done free of cost. Second time if you want to change, then it will cost you $70. Then there is a 2-day policy. This was a 30-day policy. 2-day policy is in the last 2 days you cannot change the exam. If at all you try to change the exam, it will charge you the whole fee again. Whole exam fee will be charged in full. But before 2 days, more than 2 days, you still will be charged $70. So $70 is valid for 3 days to 30 days. The last 2 days will be charged full. 3 day T minus 1 to T minus 30, it will charge you $70, and before that you can change the exam free of cost only once. Okay, what if you could not reach the exam center due to some unavoidable circumstance? Then only these circumstances are catered for. If there is a medical emergency, if you are a soldier and you are deployed on some military duty and you cannot reach your exam, if there is a death in immediate family or illness in immediate family or natural disaster, you have to produce proofs for that. In this case, you have to get in touch with PMI within 72 hours to tell them your emergency. You have to call the customer care there. You have to ring them and talk to them and tell them this was my emergency. That's why I could not appear in the exam. They may, may not charge you anything for re-examination, or they may ask you to reappear in the exam. When you go to the exam center, you must carry more than one identifications with you. The valid identifications from their point of view is a driver's license. If you are serving military ID, a valid passport and your NIC in English. If your NIC is in Urdu, they may cause some problems. So better if you have the smart card, smart NIC, then it is in English and Urdu both, so it will work. So these 4 IDs are authentic. But you can also carry your employee ID card, which you hang around your neck. You also can show them your credit cards or ATM cards. They are also recognized as acceptable form. But your social security card or library card, things like that, they are not applicable. They will not entertain that. These are some of the cautions. You can't take anything into the exam. No calculator, no pencil, no pen, no handkerchief, nothing at all. Everything they will, confiscate on the gate. And you go empty-handed, empty-pocketed into the exam. And they will body search you. They will, ensure that you don't have anything. So you can ask if they want, they can give you calculators. The examiners If they want, they have the calculators, they can give you the calculator, but there is no need for the calculator because for the exam purposes, calculator is available on computer. And there is no calculation which is beyond that. They will give you a pencil and some scrap of paper on which you can do your rough work. So you can read through these instructions. These are the cautions you have to take care of. And I think we should finish. I'll start from CCR program from tomorrow. So this is all what I had to say. Any questions from your side?
Sir, please, Abid, go ahead.
Sir, which module is this? If we want to revive this, please tell.
I didn't get you.
So the module which are identified by your good self, if I want to revive, which module is today's course?
It is the module 0. This is module 0.
Download, but it would not be downloaded.
Why not? Is it
So
there?
there is problem in module 0. There is some virus or something.
Virus or something? I can upload it again.
It's not getting downloaded, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, try any other module. Is there problem with others also?
No, sir,
No,
not
yes.
other.
Not others. Okay,
No,
I'll delete it and reload it. And then you can try
Thank
it.
you, sir. Thanks.
Yeah. Otherwise, I can put it on Dropbox. Just give me a minute. I'll tell you the Dropbox ID for that.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
So any advantage of taking the student membership, or we should go for the professional membership or PMI?
Well, go for the professional, but if you are still a student, are you a student right now? Are you a student right now?
You're a student nowadays, sir.
If you're not a student, you can't apply for that.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no benefit, no fun in having student membership. Go for the full membership. It will serve your purpose. Okay, let me take. I think I'll email you a link of OneDrive, and from there you can do it. And also, I will update this file, which is faulty or corrupt file. I'll correct that as well.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Most welcome. Most welcome. Okay, ji, take care. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.
Hafiz.